The House will come to order. Reports of standing committees and divisions.
Copy of this order.
Mr. Speaker,
A copy of this order of business has been placed on each member's desk. A minority report has been filed on HF number 844. We will act on all other committee reports first and then act on the report on House File 844 later. If there is no objection, the reports, with the exception of House File 844, will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the reports are adopted. The lady from Hennepin, Leader Pepin.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the call of the House be lifted.
Leader Pepin moves that the call of the House be lifted. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Motion prevails.
Knobloch for the Committee on Ways and Means, to which is referred House File Number 844, an act relating to education, reported the same back with a recommendation that the bill be passed and placed on the General Register. Minority report. We, the undersigned, being a minority of the Committee on Ways and Means, recommend that House File Number 844 be amended as follows, and that the bill be placed on the General Register, delete everything after the enacting clause and insert, and the minority report is signed by Mary Murphy and Lynn Carlson. Murphy M. moves that the minority report on House File Number 844 be substituted for the majority report and that the minority report be now adopted.
The lady from St. Louis, Representative Murphy M.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I ask for a roll call vote.
Roll call having been requested. Are there 15 hands? Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call. The lady from St. Louis, Representative Murphy M.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I issue the minority report and bring it back to you with respect for your time and respect for the wonderful testimony that the Education Finance members received throughout January, February, March, April. The testimony from school business officials, from superintendents, from parents, from organizations that are concerned with education, and from Minnesotans from every corner of the state. But most of all, the testimony we received from students and community members and school personnel that talked about the successes of the children that are under their care. We heard their appeal. We heard their needs. We heard how they were making attempts to close the achievement gap with what they already have. And we heard that there was a need to build on what is already there. The organization of the testimony was by far the best committee testimony and organization that I've experienced in my career at the state legislature. But we heard so many. The most historical testimony was from the Task Force on Native American Education, and when we heard their recommendations. And it was a historical event, in my opinion, because the place was packed. There was cordiality and laughter and reflection of respect for every person in the room as they listen to this testimony. It was a monumental event, and we owe it to that task force, to the commissioner, to the tribes that live in Minnesota that are still independent nations under the treaties that they have written. And we owe it to those children that they are trying to educate, to bring the help that the task force is recommending to them. In northeastern and northwestern and southwestern Minnesota, children have to ride the school bus for eons of time before they get to the school. We heard about the need for sparsity transportation aid. School counselors, once again, came before us and said, help us. We cannot possibly counsel 1,600 kids for every counselor. We need help. We heard from organizations and school districts that want to keep school open all around the clock, or at least 12 hours around the clock, and how they can work with counties and cities and the health department and the businesses in the community and have opportunities for the whole family's education after school hours. And that gym could be open for activities for senior citizens as well as kids of all ages. And we heard from people that had great opinions of how we should develop the education of the littlest, tiniest babies that are born to the kindergartners. The governor has a proposal for universal for four-year-old preschool in our schools. But there's some pretty good programs out there that are for 4-year-olds that are not attached to schools. And the directors of those proposals and the child care directors from 0 to 3 said, hey, we're doing some good work too. So help us. The proposal that we're bringing you today is a choice for voluntary child care from 0 to 4, or for established child care for 4-year-olds across the state to the school districts that are ready for it. Parents will have options, and scholarships can be given. Waiting lists can be cut down. Head Start can continue to prevail. And we will be moving forward for those children if the minority report is adopted, because there's additional investment in the families and the children of Minnesota that answers the call of those who gave testimony. We have to listen. Remember that what we talked, all the things that were said last night. Well, don't remember all of it, goodness. No, but the things where we were talking about the workforce and the skilled trainings and the jobs that has to be available and economics, that depends on how well we educate the children from now to the time that they're adults. We need to do better. And we can do it with a larger investment. And this is only just a few $100 million more than what Chair Loon had to work with and our whole committee had to work with. But it's a dandy investment, and our children need it. And the children have to have hope. And we have promises that we made that education is Minnesota's #1 priority. And the Minnesota legislature can keep that promise if you accept the minority report.
The lady from Hennepin, Leader Pepin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move we lay the minority report on the table.
The majority leader moves to lay the
Mr.
minority
Speaker?
report on the table.
Mr. Speaker?
The lady from Anoka, Representative Bernardi.
I'd like to request a roll call, please.
Roll call having been requested. Are there 15 hands? Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call. Okay, members, this is a non-debatable motion. A green vote would lay the minority report on House File 844 on the table. A red vote would not. It's non-debatable. The clerk will take the roll. The clerk will close the roll. There being 69 ayes and 59 nays, the motion to lay House File number 844, the minority report, is laid on the table. The question recurs on the adoption of the majority report for House File number 844. The gentleman from Clay, Representative Marquardt.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. Members, I ask that you refuse to adopt this report. Members, we are at a defining time in this session because in a couple days we're going to be hearing an education finance bill, and in a couple days we're going to be hearing a tax bill. Those are the choices that this has come down to. And members, my friends on the other side of the aisle, you cannot be happy that there are $15 of tax cuts, many to big special interests, versus every $1 given to education. 15 to 1. Members, this is an option that you heard was the $800 million. We provided a choice. And I've heard from a number of members, well, we're going to let the Senate fix it. When it comes back from conference committee, it's going to get better. I know back in rural Minnesota that doesn't fly. That rationale does not fly. Make no mistake about it, that what passes the House floor is your budget, your priorities, your agenda, and your choices. And members, you all have an election certificate. You all have one vote. Believe it or not, the Speaker only has one vote. Believe it or not, the Majority Leader only has one vote. Believe it or not, the Ways and Means Chair only has one vote. You can stand up today, members, and say, I'm going to stand up for education. We've heard it. At the 0.5% increase, there are going to be layoffs around this state. Members, I had one superintendent say, how in the world, when we have a $2 billion surplus, can we talk about laying off teachers and staffs and cutting schools? Members, if you refuse to adopt this report, there is still time to go back, set a new budget resolution in the Ways and Means that creates a balance for this state and creates investment for our kids. It's a very clear choice here. But don't make any excuses when bills pass off this House floor at less than 1% increase for education. You can make a choice today to stand up for our students over the interest of big special interests. Please refuse to adopt the report. And I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Roll call having been requested. Are there 15 hands? Seeing 15 hands, there will be a roll call. Further discussion? The lady from Ramsey, Representative Russo. Further discussion? The Chair of the Education Committee, Representative Loon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I urge you to vote to adopt the committee report. We'll have plenty of time to debate all the merits of the bill and that when we get to having it calendared, but it's a good proposal. There's a lot of similarities with some of the things that were mentioned in the minority report. I ask for your green vote.
Further discussion? The clerk will take the roll. The clerk will close the roll. There being 69 ayes and 59 nays, the motion is adopted. Second reading of House files. Second
reading of House File Number 844.
Second reading. Second reading of Senate files.
Second reading Senate File Number 5.
Second reading.
Second reading House Senate File Number 100.
Second reading.
Second reading Senate File 495.
Second reading.
Second reading Senate File 997.
Second reading.
Second reading Senate File 1406.
Second reading.
Second reading Senate File 1455.
Second reading.
Second reading Senate File 1535.
Second reading. Introduction of bills. The following House files have been offered for introduction today. The Chief Clerk will report the House files and give them their first reading.
Introduction and first reading of House Files 2261 through 2268.
First reading House Files 2261 through 2268. Messages from the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, I move a recess of the House so we can go down to Rules Committee.
The gentleman from Hennepin, Leader Thiessen, moves a recess.
Mr. Speaker, I'd support that.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion prevails. We are in recess.